All right, hey everyone, welcome to Ruby Monday. I'm glad that you could make it. And here we are going to chat about Ruby, chat about our team project, and also chat about the new ante up challenges that we're having as a Ruby community, actually as a code newbie community. So I'm very happy that everyone was able to join up today. Sorry for the background noise. I have to work out of a coffee shop today, so just excuse that I'll mute myself, or we can just say that it's the intro music to Ruby Monday now. So we got that going. So hey everyone, let's just kind of get started. We want to talk first about our new challenge. Has anyone gotten to take a peek at that yet? Our new Annie Up challenges? Anyone know what I'm talking about? Or should I get into it?
Where is that? Where we can find that? I haven't
It
seen it.
is, let me give you a link. I think you're going to like this, Jesus.
Let's see.
Let's give you a link. So this is the brand new challenge for the week. So I'll screen share and kind of talk through it as well. Let's see here. Can you all see my screen? All right, cool. So this is the Annie Up challenge that we're gonna work through this week. So obviously this is a brand new post, so none of us have worked through it yet. So it'll be kind of cool to talk about it and kind of give each other hints for this week, and then we'll see how we do next week on that. So let me show you. The challenge, Jamal has been doing a really good job with it. He's actually writing like a little background story to it, which I thought was pretty cool. So this is, you have been contacted by a CNB Tech Security who's in dire need of technical assistance. And this is for the World Poker Federation. So we received reports that someone in the tournament is cheating at cards. They're scrambling to verify the results of the previous tournaments. And we have footage. So they've been able to transcribe the cards that all the players have had in each game. So we need help to determine the value of each player's hand. So right here we're going in a little bit into the rules of the poker hand. And by the way, this is all brand new to me also, so I haven't like worked on this in advance. So I'm kind of seeing it as I share it with you all. So 52 cards, standard deck of cards. Cards are transcribed as a set of two characters representing the student value. So ace of spades, AS, two of hearts, 2H. Each hand has 5 cards. So here's unique some samples. So I'm guessing this would be 3 of diamonds, 9 of hearts, ace, well, AD. Someone help me out with my poker.
Ace of diamonds, maybe?
Oh, there you go. Ace of diamonds. Great. 8 of clubs and jack of. Man, there you go. I haven't played poker in a while. I just realized that. All right, so there you go. We're already helping each other. So king of. Yeah, I forgot all of them again. But here, the thing with WikiLeaks. A list of poker hands. That's definitely going to help out in this. So here's the poker scoring. I think it's just a standard poker scoring. So we have all the rules of basic rules of poker. All right. So here's the challenge. All right. Let's get to the good part. Write a program that takes a poker hand consisting of 5 cards and determine which type of hand it is. All right. So that's the first challenge. Write a program that takes a poker hand consisting of 5 cards and determines which type of hand it is. So we have to determine if it's a straight flush, 4 of a kind, a full house, flush, straight, 3 of a kind, 2 pairs, a pair, or if nothing else, a high card. So that's the one I was looking for. So if there's no other scoring cards, it's just the value of the high card. So the challenge is determining which type of hand we have. Cool. And then, so we have the basic challenge. This is like what we're trying to get everyone to work on throughout the week. But then we're also doing a stretch goal because some of you are, awesome developers and you're going to be amazing at this. You're going to figure this out right away. So then the stretch goal is, let's see, Tech Security would be very grateful for our help for the tournament in the next 2 weeks. So they're out of time and need our assistance. Once you complete your task, they will still have 2 additional steps if you're willing to assist. So both of these stretch goals will require you to program to accept a series of 5 hands. 5 card hands. For these, I will need to do one or both of the following. Determine if any of the cards are duplicated. Return the hand for the series that has the highest value. So there it is. Let me get your thoughts on the challenge.
I
Too
like it.
easy. Too easy.
Oh, Jesus, come on.
What do you guys think it means by duplicated? If any of the cards are duplicated, is that within the same hand? So if they, I'm trying to think what that means.
so,
That
so
would
I think,
imply that there was an error in the card deck, right?
well, it would imply, right? So what I take out of it is that a deck of cards is limited to 52, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we only have one of each, so we're only going to have one, whatever, ace of diamonds. So if all of a sudden we have a hand that has another ace of diamonds,
It
that would
means
be a
that,
duplicate. So someone's
and
not playing right.
oh, okay. Or it
You
could
get
mean
that?
that your code, the app code that you wrote is wrong.
Exactly. Well,
Hmm.
yeah, bringing it back to code. Then yeah, your code is allowing more than
Right.
one
Okay.
card to exist or one pair. Any other thoughts, questions? Let's see, Diana, what do you think of this?
I think it's pretty neat, but I'm still kind of trying to like figure out how I would. I'm still stuck trying to figure out what the hell I would do.
I think that's the point of it, right? To kind of throw
Yeah,
something at you that unless you're Jesus, you're gonna go, yeah, let me figure this out.
seriously, I'm so
The
jealous
good
of
thing is that we can all just bug Jesus for help now.
Yep.
Jesus is probably already hacking away over there.
Yes,
I
you
know.
are right. I already started.
Knowing Jesus by the end of this call, he's gonna be like, okay, just something to share really quick in 5 seconds. Let me
A
show you the
Sinatra
Sinatra
app.
app.
Yeah.
And he's covered the stretch goals too.
Right. No, he's gonna start with the stretch goals. Thank you, Jesus. You provide inspiration to us all. Mo, what do you think of this challenge?
I see a huge FL statement.
All right. Let's see, Alexandra, get your thoughts. And if you're not on the mic, then you can also feel free to just type them in. You're not forced to be on the mic. Oh, sorry, I forgot. Hey, Andrew, I hadn't seen you on. You want to intro yourself and kind of share your thoughts? So, if Andrew's available, then feel free to jump in. If not, then let's get NG's thoughts.
It was interesting. Looking forward to working on it. Do not
Oh, you're
get
starting
out.
hacking at it already. Very nice. All right, let's see. Chris, what's your thoughts on this? I don't think I gave you a full shot at that.
I I like it. Are we going to work on it together, or are we each going to come up with our own individual solution and then share that?
So I think the original idea was for everyone to come up with an individual solution,
Hmm.
and that'll create some interesting ways of seeing what approaches you took to solve it.
Definitely.
But I think, especially since this is the first one we're doing, we would that's kind of what I was hoping we could do right now, just kind of talk through it and not necessarily write code or maybe even in pseudocode, but just kind of break it down.
Get some
How would
concepts
we even
going.
begin this?
Yeah.
How would we even begin to do this? Jesus just put a link to case statements, which would be a great resource to have on something like this. So how about we start going through that? Let's kind of
Sounds
break it
good.
down into smaller problems. So what would probably be our initial? Anyone have thoughts of the initial part to even get started? Where would you
Yes,
start with this?
parse the card names into the number and the suite.
So first parse the card names into the number in the suite. Can you kind of explain a little bit more on what you mean by that?
Yes, so if the input is a string, which is like 5C, then to know what card it is, you need to separate the number and the letter. So then you can create like a card object, and then you can ask this object what number it is and what suite it is.
Very good. So first first object right there is parsing. Did everyone catch that? Any questions on that? I think that would be a good place to start.
Yeah, Jesus, is it like an array? Are we making arrays?
Yes, you can make an array.
Okay.
So kind of what he's saying is, if we have like the one card that I couldn't figure out, right? If you can see that in the chat, then the first thing we would need to do is somehow that string, parse it, create a method, so that now we can break it off into an A and a D. And now we probably are going to need to have some kind of reference of what the values are going to be, right? So what is an A value?
Right, that's what I was thinking. We'd need to assign the number as a value to each card.
Now,
So
how do we determine? Yeah, go ahead.
So an ace, it can be a 1 or an 11.
Yep. And now we would need to have some logic around when is it a 1, when is it an 11.
Right.
Okay. So how would we start assigning values to these? So for example, we have the bases, right? So Jesus says don't jump ahead. Good call, Jesus.
Okay.
Very good. So first is parsing that. Oh, cool, Andrew. Welcome. So first is parsing it. So what would someone think we're starting to assign these values. Let's work on that. How would we parse that string? Anyone have any ideas to kind of assign a value?
Split. String has a split method.
So let's see. Anyone want to look it up and maybe kind of share the documentation for the split method, or is everyone pretty familiar with it? And this is not the hangout to be shy in. So if you haven't used split or you have some questions, feel free to say I haven't used it. And that's kind of the point of hanging out.
I think split wouldn't work because by default split splits on the space delimiter. So if you don't have a delimiter in that case,
You can split on whatever you want. You simply pass the delimiter.
so what is the delimiter in this case?
Empty.
Okay, so let's
So
see.
you can say this split and type it in chat.
I think chop would be a better solution.
Let's try some of these.
I don't like chop for this.
Okay.
Joel, is
So,
there a link to that problem so that we can read it?
oh yeah, I thought I did. I'm sorry about that. Let me see here. Sorry about that. I thought I had posted it earlier.
Awesome.
But there it is. There it is. So I'm sharing my screen. If you kind of want to see the screen.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me now find my actual terminal. So what you're saying, Jesus, would be something like this. Let's see, where did you put it?
Yes.
So there you go. So that would give us that. So that would give us our array. So our array could be something like test.split. And now we have our array. Correct? Now, what about chop? Mo, what were you suggesting? Were you able to hear me, Mo?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I got disconnected.
Oh, no problem. So that's the we just are looking at the split and chop kind of methods. Where were you thinking as far as using chop?
I was thinking chop, just it sounds naturally suitable for this kind of situation. Because I think split here used a regular expression, right? To indicate an empty delimiter.
Yes, that's a regular impression.
Very good. So can you give me, I have my console open. You want to kind of give me an idea of how you would use chop? I'll type it in for everyone.
Just instead of split, you can just call chop without anything.
So I'm going to call this variable Mo, so you can see, all right?
You don't need a regular expression. You can also give an empty string. I just tested that.
I'm not sure. Try out just, yeah, exactly.
I tried that just now. I
Okay,
have done it a million times, so I know it works.
so let's go one by one though, just so we kind of see the variations. So Mo, I'm trying to test that chop. Is that what you had in mind?
Yeah, but yeah, I didn't think of now we're missing the D part. So
All right, so let's try this again. So let's do number, sweet. So we are assigning both of them. Test dot split, and then you're saying we can either do the regular expression or we can do just
Empty
this.
string. Yes.
Do I need to do an empty string like that, or just one quote is fine?
That should work.
So let's test this out now. Number, there you go. Sweet,
Yes.
there we go.
There you go.
Nice. Or we can do this with a regex. So and here we are, same results. So was everyone able to follow that okay?
Yep.
yeah.
All right, so now we have our array with our number and our suite. So just in case you're trying to get some hints on how to solve this throughout this week, that'll be a good place. Any other ideas on what a next step could be?
Write test. Write test.
Write a test. Okay, who wants to write a test on splitting the number and suite? Anyone want to take a stab at it? Don't be shy. Mo, you're pretty strong at tests. I know we were talking about tests. How would you test this? Uh-oh, I think we lost Mo. You're going to have to do it, Jesus. I think everyone went quiet on me now. All right, so we're going to skip the test for there you go.
I already have the test. And then I passed in already. So.
All right, so give us a little screen share. Give us a little taste of what you're doing.
Okay. Can you see my screen?
We can see your screen. Everyone else, thumbs up if you can see his screen, please. Okay, Jesus.
Okay, so I have a describe card, and then I create a card object, and then I have two tests. One test for the number, and another test for the suite.
Very cool.
And this is the code we just went on.
There you go.
Jesus, can you bring that last screen back?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
So are you able to follow what was going on with it? I didn't see who asked the question. Was it Alexander? Sorry, Alexandra, was it you that asked the question? I couldn't.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, it was me. Diana.
Oh, Diana. There you go. Okay, thank you, Alexandra. So, so did you want to see what the test was like, or were you able to follow it, or do you need a little bit of walkthrough with it?
No, I wanted to see the screen because I didn't get to see the test that he wrote, but it's on now.
Okay.
Thanks.
And Alexandra only saw your screen for like 2 seconds, so let's walk through it if you wouldn't mind. Let's go for the test.
Okay, so the first line I require the card class. Then I describe the card class.
The required relative, is that just so that it's because it's in the same path?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Then I have this let statement, which says create a card, which is card.new and the card. And then I have two tests, one which tests the number and another that tests the suite.
Very good. So does everyone follow what his tests we're doing?
Yep, I
Yeah.
follow. I'm just taking it in.
Very cool. All right, and if you have any questions, please feel free to like ask them or just post it in the chat, and we'll try to go through it.
Hey, Jesus, can I see your card class?
Yeah.
Okay, great, thanks.
I kind of have a high-level design suggestion. Since I just looked at the challenge right now, I identified all the nouns. So maybe we can have a card class, a deck class, and a hand class. And then the card class can, do all the expectations and input for a single card to check whether it's a valid. For example, anybody can enter ZF, and then that checkup will be on the card level. And then on the deck level, you would check for duplications, whether the card has been there already or not. Something like that.
Very good idea. Very good idea. So you're talking a little bit further as far as planning the whole thing, which I think it would start to make sense, right? We're going to need some things to check at the card level. Just are they valid cards first of all?
But
So before we get there, go ahead, Jesus. We're talking about like taking it one thing at a time, right?
yes,
Yeah.
you can jump ahead like that. It won't work because the scene can change as you are working. You do TDD, the scene will show itself as you make progress. You can design the wolf until thing at the start because it won't work out.
Right. So I think so I see both of the things, right? So it's good at least to have like an overall idea of where you're going, even if you're not putting the design yet, just to kind of grasp your brain around it and seeing, okay, where am I going to need to do this? But at the same time, that could overwhelm you if you start doing
Yeah.
too much. So
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I was just suggesting, not to implement it right away. Actually, right now we're doing the card, so maybe what I thought is just to focus on what the card class should do.
got it, got it. Yeah, no, and I totally see your point though, because I think as you start doing, that's one of the things that kind of affects when you're new, when you're starting out. You want to take on the whole challenge instead of breaking it down into smaller pieces, and
Yes,
then
yes.
you can get overwhelmed. But at the same time, it's kind of a good idea to know at least what direction you're going into. So seeing that, so we have the card class, a basic card class that we saw that Jesus put together. It's doing one thing and it's doing it well. Just kind of parsing out the value of the card. Anyone have a suggestion of what might be a good next step aside from the test?
Yeah, I think now we can identify whether it's not valid.
Okay. Anyone else have any thoughts? And then we'll kind of go into it. So
We could also take the the number for the ace and start writing a little bit of logic just to determine if that's a 1 or an 11.
Okay, so maybe determine logic, returns validity or logic to it. Any other thoughts? What's on your mind, Diana? Feel free to share.
I'm once again just watching.
That's
It's a
cool.
little overwhelming, but it's cool. You guys
That's good.
throwing ideas around.
That's good. That's good to know, though. So let me ask you, what part is a little bit overwhelming? Just trying to follow along, like how you're trying to figure out what the next steps are, or
Right.
which part, if you were doing this on your own, what do you think you'd get stuck with, or where would you start?
Well, I would definitely start by writing the actual program, but then when I got to testing it, I would totally freeze because I haven't gotten there yet.
So you haven't done much TDD.
Right.
Got it. So, and that's nothing bad. I got started with TDD very late. I'm still learning TDD. So you can definitely write the program now. Obviously, it's a better route for most people to TDD eventually, right? But
Yeah.
yeah, I totally see your point. You're going to start writing the program first and seeing what you can accomplish. And that's kind of what I did with playing with IRB. I really like doing that. Just throwing some code right there, just testing it, see if I'm using the right methods or not.
Yeah. That's pretty
Okay,
cool.
very nice. So, Jesus, what would your suggestion be on this? Should we start testing for validity of the card?
I think most of this challenge usually assume valid input, if that's what you mean.
Right.
So if I add validation, I add it in the end, normally.
So let me look at the challenge again because I think at first it's not user inputted cards, right? What are we testing? What's the challenge asking us to do on the first one? Write a program that takes a poker hand consisting of 5 cards and determines which type of hand it is. So what do you all understand by that? Are we letting the program give us the 5 hands, or are we manually inputting them?
I was thinking the same thing. Are we doing something maybe along the lines of like math random or something like that? Where, or I don't know, maybe something else that just randomly picks something out of the array and puts both together?
Okay, so Angie thinks that we're allowing the user to enter the card. What
Yeah.
did? Go ahead, Jesus.
It sounds like the hand is given to you. Is
That's how
some
it sounded to
external
me.
entity.
That's how it sounds to me.
Mhm.
Anyone else have any thoughts? Mo, what do you think on this?
Um, I'm not really sure actually. Maybe we can automate the part where the system provides just an arbitrary card, just for
I,
the moment, for testing purposes and so on.
so yeah, I think I'm kind of seeing what you're saying with that too. Chris, what do you think?
Yeah, I think the program is going to randomly generate cards every time you start it.
So if that's the case, then where do we keep our cards? Do we just keep them in an array? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, we know there's going to be 52 and they're going to be the same cards every time. So it's a little excessive to use a database probably. So an array could work.
Okay, so that's. Do we just keep them there and just keep the 52? If so, let's assume we're doing it that way, just for the sake of argument, just because I have a question now.
Mhm.
So if we're doing a random, so just array and then putting a random on it and just picking a random set, which is fine. Now, how do we make sure that we're not duplicating those, that we're only picking a unique one? So removing it from the list of options once we
Well,
select it.
I have a counter question.
Yeah.
Every time we pick random cards, are we assuming that we're using the same deck, or is it a brand new deck?
Same deck.
Same deck until we run out.
Because on the next challenge, we're gonna double check that we're not having duplicates of the same card, which would imply that extra cards were thrown into there.
Okay.
There is a sample method in array which gives you elements, random elements that are not repeated.
So let's see the dot sample.
Yes.
So with that one, we wouldn't be repeating.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. So let's try it out. Anyone want to kind of throw it up in a console? And just kind of play with it? Any volunteers? Kind of like the same thing I did with the console earlier. Diana, you want to take a crack at it?
I just opened my command line.
Nice. Share your
So
screen, and we'll just play with the dot sample.
all right, well, baby steps here, okay?
Sure.
Let me screen share first. Can you guys see it?
Yep. Once I start seeing myself, then yeah.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
All right, here, I'll do this. Okay, so my first step would what be to create the arrays?
Right, and we're still seeing your actual screen, not your console. So I don't know if you have to share the right window.
All right, give me 1 second. Maybe I should share it differently, right?
Right.
Um,
And while you get that up and running, Zachary, welcome. We're just going over the Code Newbie Ante Up challenge. Let me post that link up again. Let me see here. And we're just kind of talking through how we would solve it, and feel free to speak up. Right now we're just looking into the sample method of an array, and Diana's kind of just going to play with the console for us, so we can see what it does.
if I can figure out how to do this.
Let's see, if you do a screen share, it lets you, there you go, we can see it.
Okay, cool.
You got it.
All right, so do you want me to create an array first of numbers?
Yeah, create a simple array. Let's figure it out. Maybe do an array of 1 through 10.
Okay. Oh boy, I'm new at this too, so we're probably gonna be here all night.
No, don't worry about it. Go ahead. I think you pressed enter ahead of time.
Okay.
So let's see what you're doing. Just keep going. Don't worry about it. We'll figure it out.
Okay. Okay.
There you go. So now, go ahead. Keep going. Keep going.
So we got what was it? Clover. Spade.
Well, you're probably. Let's start just with the sample method. So let's just play with your numbers first. Don't worry about the rest.
All right, cool. So just
There
this
you go.
want?
There you go. So now let's go ahead and do. You got it. And see what that does. Didn't do anything.
Oh.
Maybe it's because our. I think there was something funky going on up top when you tried to do the initial one. Just check if you have anything going in number.
Okay.
See if there's anything stored. Try it again. Try it one more time. There you go. So I don't think you have anything in number. Let's try to just assign a simple thing, just to see if it's just put like number equals 1 or something. Let's make sure we can get our console working.
Oh.
Try Control C or something like that. Sometimes we get stuck. And then if not, if all else fails, exit IRB and start again.
Yeah. Sorry.
I remember when I just started playing with Terminal and like IRB and all that. It's something goes wrong. You're like, what happened? Did I break something? But no, you didn't.
Yeah. Well, just the other day, I deleted myself, so I had to go to Genius Bar and just anyway. So let me give this another try.
Just try with 1 just to see if you can assign it.
Okay.
There you go. There you go.
Okay.
So now we're good. Let's go ahead and let's make an array.
All right.
Now I have a question while she's setting that up. Is there something we can do to assign all of them? Like, the %W, but when it's not a string, when it's actual numbers?
I only know the %W for the strings.
For strings,
Yeah.
right?
It's for words, actually.
For words.
For words, yeah.
So.
Well, there you go. That makes sense. W for words. I hadn't even thought of
I
that.
guess you could do a range, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll talk about that one right now. So number.sample. So Try it a couple times to see if we're getting unique ones. There
You
you
have
go.
to.
Go ahead, Jesus.
It takes an argument. You have to say sample 5, and it will give you 5 unique values from the array.
Yep. So go ahead
Nice.
and let me see. There you go. Try again. Now, here's the question, and this is working well. Well, this is working well. How, if we're only taking, okay, so we have our deck of cards, which are 52. So we'd have 52 items in our array, and then we would just sample 5 for our hand. For right now, that would be fine. But later down the road, when we're trying to play multiple hands, that might be a problem, right?
I'm still trying to understand how we're gonna combine like our number and our suite together.
Okay, so imagine this, I think. So don't worry about the numbers in suite yet. Our actual array is not going to be a number, so your actual array would be probably something like Ace of Diamonds, Queen of Hearts, Jack of Spades. I'm typing some samples in. Oops, I forgot to close it out.
Okay.
So that's actually what you would be getting a sample of. So just imagine all the 52 items represented by 2 letters.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
So once you do that, you're going to start by doing an, cards.sample or array.sample, whatever you have.
Mm-hmm.
And then you would pass in the argument that Jesus mentioned. So you would array.sample 5.
Okay.
And that would give you 5 of these.
Okay.
So let's say your sample, you have your array already, right?
Yeah.
So let's say you have your sample array. How would you now have that and use Jesus's card class to split those into a number and what did you have it as? As hand? I forgot what you called it, Jesus.
Was it cards the class?
Let
Card?
me see. The card class.
Card class.
Card class, and you had it as a number and a suite. There you go. So now you have your array of these 5 things. Can you think of how now we would start using it with Jesus's card class?
You asking me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just to put a little pressure on you, but you feel free to get help. So Christopher, NG, Mo, everyone,
Yeah.
feel free to chip in.
Yeah. Help me out.
What method can you think of that would allow you to iterate through the items you have in your array?
What method would I use?
So if you want to perform something on each item in your array, there you go,
Yeah.
Alexandra.
Yeah, each.
There you go. So NG, go ahead. You want to walk us through what you typed up? You want to give it a little shot at explaining that, NG or Zachary? Sorry.
We could do hand.each. I'll paste the code in the.
All right. Okay, cool. So assuming your array was called hand, then were you able to catch that, Diana?
Yeah.
So
NG, are you gonna? You said you're gonna post the code. Okay. Okay, makes sense.
So why are we looping over the array again? I'm sorry.
So basically, we want to create an object of card class for each of the card we have, so that we can use the split method, I guess, so that we get the suit and the card value.
did that make sense, Mo?
I'm not sure. Where is the array? This array of the entire card deck. Where it will be?
I don't think we've determined that, especially because in this project, everyone kind of gets to go at it their own way of solving it. So we're just kind of talking about it as if we were solving different pieces of it, small pieces of it, and then you can plug it in however it's going to work on yours. So what we were saying is if we had an array where we listed our 52 cards,
Uh-huh.
so the 52 options, right? So A, D, Q, H, J, S, whatever those are,
Uh-huh.
we could get a hand of cards by doing a dot sample param 5 on it, and
Yes.
that would give us a unique hand. So now we would our array would just have us each item in the array would just still be that two-letter representation. So now we would have to iterate through each one of those to convert that two-letter representation into an actual something that actually has meaning, right? So
Yes, yes.
using Jesus's card class earlier as a sample, how would we be able to do that? And that's what NG posted. Sorry, I lost my screen as I was saying that, so I was trying to remember what was going on. Does that make sense, Mo?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
Thank you.
So, NG, would you mind sharing why you're choosing to use a collect?
So the output we want is a array of card objects. So when we use collect, it executes the code and it pushes the result into an array.
Okay,
So
sorry. Go ahead.
yeah, so that's why I used collect. It iterates to each item in the array, performs an action and returns that and stores it in an array. So
Okay,
at the end
now,
of this, you'll have an array of card objects.
I
got it.
think map also would do the same thing.
What was that?
Map.
Map?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yep.
there
I
are,
think,
there.
yeah,
It's
they're
an alias.
synonyms.
It's an alias. It's an alias.
Did everyone catch that? So it's doing the same thing. It's just an alias
I
for it.
guess map will replace the element in the array. I'm not sure.
A map will create a new array.
Oh, it will create a new array. Nice.
Yes.
Yeah. So I have a question because Jesus, on the card class that you have, we're returning an array already, right?
No.
I just, you mind sharing it again? I don't remember what we're returning.
You're returning the object. So I have. Well, I will show it. Um, mm, 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 mm.
Or you're assigning it to a.
Yes, to instance variables.
Got it. So if we do a collect and we're assigning it to instance variables, what will we get back?
This depend how your map looks like. So you can say dot map number and you will get all the numbers, or you can say dot card suite and you will get all the suites. If
But
that's what you want to do.
we need both, don't we?
Yeah.
So what would be a good or way to handle that here? Because really what we need is the value of
What
that
value?
hand.
What value? And I'm sure I follow you.
Yes,
Right. So
maybe we can override the 2s method, and in the 2s we can concatenate both.
Yeah.
okay, so concatenate them into
Or you save the original value before parsing it if you want.
right. Okay, Diana, that's a good question. So let's see. So I think there's two steps right here, right? First, the first step that we talked about earlier with Jesus was if we had just a single card, we got to figure out how to split the value. Split it into a J and into an S. right?
Right.
Now, then what we were talking about after that was, okay, how do we even get some, JS or where do we get those from? The conversation went into whether those were user inputted for a hand of cards. A hand of cards has 5 cards, or if our program is just giving us a random hand of cards. And that's why, since we said that we're assuming that our program is assigning them, then the way we can get a random hand of cards, even just be able to split that card later down the road, would be to have an array of 52 cards, all the representations, and then you would do your sample on that,
Okay.
sample 5.
All right. Got it. Thank you.
No problem. And then now you have your individual cards. Now you can go ahead and split them each
Right. Okay.
using the class that Jesus hooked up for us here.
Now, why would I be splitting?
That's a good question. So we're trying to determine the goal of this is to determine the value of a card.
Okay.
So the value of a card is determined by 2 factors, correct? It's determined first by the actual number or the value of that. So for example, an ace is worth 1 or 11, like Chris was explaining earlier.
Okay.
2 obviously worth 2, 3, etc., etc. Jack is worth more than a 10, less than a queen. Queen, king being the highest value.
All right. So then eventually, are we going to be setting values?
Eventually.
Okay,
Yes,
cool.
we're
All right,
setting
got it.
values, so we can determine that. So we're at the point where we're doing that. Now, at what point do we start assigning some values to these things? Anyone have any ideas? Oh man, we have 2 mo's now.
Inception.
Nice. Chris, you got any ideas of when we start inserting some values into some of these things at what point in the process?
So we've got our individual hands. So we've got 5 cards inside an array, and then we're looping through there. And I think as soon as on each iteration, we can go ahead and split the card, and then we can probably assign a value right there inside that iteration.
Yeah, I think that I was thinking somewhere along that line too, because if we're returning the cards, I mean, maybe we're returning it just so we can display the right name of the card or something like that. So I see the value in that.
Mm-hmm.
But also at the same time, probably when we're splitting it, that's a good time to start thinking about the value of the cards, wouldn't it?
Yep, that's exactly what I meant.
All right. Any other thoughts on that? Jesus, you got an opinion on that?
No, I'm trying to code.
I know. Jesus is like, do what you want. I'll solve it in the meantime.
Why wouldn't we set the value at the beginning before we even run or try to get random numbers or cards?
Okay. So we're setting the value. Okay. Well, let's split that up into 2 things. First, where do we determine or where do we keep what each card is worth or what each representation is worth? So we were talking about a data store somewhere along the line, right?
Okay.
Which for something like this, it could be just a simple hash key value. Well, at least that's what I'm thinking. Any other thoughts on that? But we could probably, right? So we could just probably have something like, a hash where we initialize it in the beginning of running our program, and it's just going to kind of give us values for each card. So, Jen. And I'm just pseudocoding this, so don't take this as anything. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So then, when we're iterating through our actual things, then now we can, look up our. So let's see, value equals. I'm missing something somewhere along the line, but hopefully you're following what I'm trying to do.
Okay.
And that way you would get that value of that card that you've stored somewhere along the line.
All right. Got it.
Okay. I kind of lost myself right there just a little bit. I'm trying to think and talk at the same time. Not always a good combination for me. I think that's the fun part of these challenges, that I'm trying to solve it as I'm talking to the group also. But I can't really be coding like Jesus right now. So, Chris, what are your thoughts so far? What's going through your head? I can see your faces on the screen, which is kind of funny because I see everyone kind of like trying to figure it. I see the spinning wheels.
Yeah. I'm trying to. I like to write the code and then bump up against the walls and then have to go around before it's hard for me to just come up with a game plan without actually writing the code and hitting the problems myself.
It's hard for me to
Yeah.
host this while not trying to just sit down and write code.
Yeah.
Which I think this is the challenge of the first one, since no one's done it. But hopefully for this, we'll have the same chat next week when we actually have time to code and work on stuff and hit some bumps.
Right.
But it's still kind of a fun process to do this. Just kind of like, okay, here it is, brand new, let's go.
Oh yeah, it's a good learning experience too.
Mo, what are your thoughts so far?
I'm still thinking design decisions, and I'm not really sure. Maybe you guys can tell me this functionality of having the hash key determine the value of the card. Should it be the responsibility of the card itself or some other entity in the program?
Right.
So at the moment, I understand that we shouldn't go beyond what's the problem right now. Shouldn't think big design decisions, but we already know that there is some other bigger class other than card. So at least knowing that, should we decide now whether this responsibility, be a card providing its own value in a number, should it be a responsibility of the card or that
Yes.
other entity holding the card?
I think the card is fine.
Yeah, I kind of think too. Then all this conversion should be inside the card itself, having the entire hash key array of A equals 1, J equals 10, and so on should be inside the card.
So what you're talking about is you're in your process, you're trying to determine if the value of the card should be part of the card class as well. Did I understand you correctly, Mo?
I'm sorry, my internet is a little bit flaky, but yes, I think
Sorry, you were breaking up there. Oh, no worries. Go ahead, Jesus. One question. Should the card know its own value? That's a good question. What do you think?
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Because later
We
on,
heard you a little bit broken, but we heard you.
yeah, later
Sorry, I
on.
think we lost you again.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry about that. You want to walk us through that question, Jesus?
So what he's selling is a decision, and I think it's good asking yourself a question, and the question in this case will
Sorry, I
be
don't know if it's just me or that's you're breaking for me too. Um,
I think it's yours, Angel. 'Cause I can hear them.
Yeah, I can hear him fine too.
do you want me to start again?
I guess give Angel maybe 30 seconds, a minute.
Okay.
Oh, he said feel free to continue.
Okay. So yeah, I was saying the same decision. You can ask yourself the question if this class should know how to do something. In this case, only know how to get its value. I think it's fine because it's what the card does. All I have to do is know its value, nothing else. And maybe compare its value with another card.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay, so are we still using array to do that, or I remember I probably just heard you guys say hashes for it.
Right now, I'm making a hash with all the possible cards, so with all 52 cards. What do you think, Jesus?
That's the money. I don't think you need all the cards right now.
Okay.
All right, so
Well,
Jesus, were you saying that in the hash you're gonna assign the value?
No, I didn't propose a hash. That was more Mebdol.
Oh, okay, sorry.
so, and here we have different ways of solving it, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
and that's a good thing that this is a challenge. So, Diana, just so you kind of follow a little bit, and this is what I understood. If we're splitting the cards, then what we're going to get is a combination of values. So all we have to do now is we have the values for the actual suite of cards and a value for the number assigned to it. Combine those two and you get your card value. An alternate route is kind of what Christopher's doing, which is he's going ahead and he's not worrying about splitting the card. He's taking and he's creating a hash key value, so a hash with a value
Hmm.
of each of those 52 and assigning a value to it. So whenever he sees that pair, he doesn't need to split it. He's just looking for that pair in his hash table, and he's saying, okay, if I have a AD, what value does that have?
Okay, I think I
And
was
he's
thinking, sorry, more along Christopher's mind frame in terms of creating that.
got it. So and that's a valid thing. He could still use the split method to later down the road if he wants to present it in a nicer way instead of
Hmm.
presenting it as AD. If he wants to actually say, you know, ace of spades, ace of diamonds, then he can use that method then. But as
Okay.
far as his values go, I think he's just keeping it together, just building a table of 52 items.
Okay.
Did I understand you correctly, Chris?
Yeah, definitely, and that might change too. But the way I learn is I try an idea, and then if it flubs up, then okay, at least I know why I want to do something differently.
Makes sense.
Very good. Okay. Let's see. Angie, how are you doing? How's your mind working this out? Any comments or thoughts on how you're working through this? I think we all need more time, so you're not you're not alone on that boat. And Zachary, I'm not sure if you have a mic or if you want to even be on, but feel free to chat in what your thoughts are on the challenge, any ideas you have. That's fine. Feel free to type in if you have any questions or as you're thinking through this, if you're thinking that where to start or any blocks you might have, feel free to just ask them and we'll try to chip in. Very cool. So, and same thing to you, Andrew. I know Alexandra and Andrew aren't on next, so feel free to chime in on the chat. So, Christopher, as far as your thinking process goes, I know you're trying to think and work through it at the same time. Where are you at right now?
I'm writing the hash out right now. Oh, we're losing you again, Angel.
I know. I feel like a horrible host today. Sorry about that.
So right now I'm just writing out the hash by hand.
Okay. Mo,
Yes.
what do you mean? You want to go ahead and share what you mean about the 2i to return a card
Yeah.
to numerical value?
So before I get disconnected, we were discussing whether the card should hold the logic for providing its own value, and then I thought maybe that was a stupid suggestion of me, and then I thought again, okay, then maybe since we're using 2s to provide the string representation logic of the card, then we can use the 2i to represent the actual numerical value of that same card.
Got it. So that's a interesting take on that. I hadn't really thought of overriding any default methods, but that'll be good to see how you end up working through that. And then Zachary's he's thinking of creating a method called shuffle to assign hand values. Very cool. I like where everyone's taking it through this. Jesus, are you on the secondary stretch challenges yet? Help us out here. What are you doing? How are you kind of without details if you don't want to go through the coding details, but kind of share what your process was and your step 1, 2, 3, like what order are you going tackling this in?
Okay. So after parsing the card, I added another test to test for the absolute value of a card. So basically, what that does is convert the the cards that are like a letter, the J, Q, the King, the Ace, convert that into a number, so I can compare them. So that's what I done. Looks like we are losing Angela, guys.
Yeah, we lost our host. This feels like limbo. Okay, I just, again, bigger design decisions. What do you guys think is the actual purpose of this program? Are we simulating the dealer? Are we simulating the game? What are we doing here?
I think it's the entire game. We're designing the entire game, so we're giving everyone their cards. We're determining the value of those cards for them, and then we're finding out who wins.
And in real life, who does that?
In real life,
Machines, like when you go to, I don't
right?
know, casinos, maybe they have those fancy new things now.
Yeah, a machine would just handle that whole process.
Yeah. So maybe we're doing like a virtual kind of game here, not an actual. But I think the instructions were more along the lines of it kind of sounded like it was real. So I know where Mo's coming from, like who would actually do this in real life.
hmm It would sort of be like if 5 people were each sitting at their electronic poker
Yeah.
table, and they were playing against each other, but all the logic is handled by the electronics.
Okay, well, that makes sense.
Because I have no experience playing poker ever.
Oh my God, me neither. I had to
Oh, really?
Google cards. I had to Google because I had no idea what I was looking at.
Okay, where did we end right now? We're still at the card level, right?
Yeah. So the part that the dealer would be responsible for would be, I think like Andrew and Zach were saying, the more I think about it, I guess the dealer would handle all of this. because not only would the dealer give each person their cards, but the dealer would be responsible for knowing the value of everybody's hand and who won.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the dealer is the ultimate truth in this game, right?
Right. Yeah.
Although everybody knows that an ace of whatever is this value, but still the truth is within the dealer.
Right.
So did we decide that we're the ones that should know? Like we're handling everything?
We're just sitting here in
Can you
silence
all
waiting for
hear
you,
me?
Angel.
Sorry about that.
What is going on?
You have robot voice, Angel. You have to link to a robot.
Hello. It's a Roboto Ruby hangout.
Yeah.
All right. Any better, or am I still a robot?
You're better now.
Okay. We're having live robot conversions in Ruby Monday. I'm sorry about the bad connection, but seeing that we have all the wheels spinning, uh, how about we call it a night? Let everyone kind of code on it, work on it throughout the week, and then we can kick it up next week. And I know we haven't talked about the team project. I just feel horrible about the connection that I have right now. So I promise next week I won't be caught up in a coffee shop doing this.
All right, sounds good.
Is that
Cool.
okay? Okay, Suze, I know I didn't give you enough time to finish all the tests for the entire thing yet. but let's catch up next week, and that way I'll promise I'll have a much better connection, and that'll give everyone time to kind of work and hit some bumps along the road.
All right,
All
sounds
right.
good.
Thanks a lot, Angel.
Okay.
All right,
Thank
sorry
you.
about that, but thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks,
Good night.
everybody.